Okay. Testing. I think we have volume this time. I think you can hear me this time. Let me see if this makes a difference. Can you hear me? Can anybody hear me? This is like the most annoying interface. This is why I've never done this before, because it's so much work to try to make it work. Yay, you can hear me. Okay, I'm just gonna give it just a minute for people to catch on. I'm so sorry. I'm having one of those days where every little thing that can go wrong is going wrong. I will tell you all about it. Thank you so much for joining me. And thanks for being patient while I had to relaunch stuff. This has just been so frustrating. I'm just going to share the link in a few places. And we'll get chatting. I've got some stuff to share with you. And I'm wearing my brand new top. And I'm like sweating in it, which is hilarious. You're all lovely, wonderful fishies for joining me here. Really appreciate it. I really just basically wanted to test this out to see how the interface works and to see if maybe like doing a weekly or bi-weekly vlog live stream thing is something I want to try out because it's fun. We'll see. Okay. So hello, I'm Raina. It's nice to meet you. I had all these ideas of having this lovely backdrop so that I would have like lights and a pretty backdrop, and nothing went right. In trying to get ready for this live stream, I pinched a nerve in my neck and hurt myself. So I had a nap before the live stream and I set my alarm so I could make myself dinner, and I made myself some broccoli soup. And so I put everything in the blender. And you know those commercials where they try to advertise blenders and they're like, this is a bad blender, and the lid flies off and the food goes everywhere? That didn't happen to me. The bottom came out and the food went everywhere. So I had half mixed broccoli soup all over my kitchen and in my cat food bowls and everything. And so I had to try to clean that up and still make myself some food because I was starving, and I wanted to make this set like really nice for you, but instead like we've got all my office junk and I don't have the right lighting. So bear with me. Next time we do this, it'll look pretty cool. It'll look a lot better. But today I wanted to show you my brand new top. I'm wearing shorts, don't mind me. My brand new Emathea top. It's so pretty. Look at this. And she sent me a bracer too. And I've got some other goodies to show you as well. And I just wanted to take a minute to thank everybody for subscribing and watching all my videos. It's really awesome. I've been in the mermaid industry. This September will be 12 years, which is like blows my mind. So don't feel bad if it's taking you a while to get started or to do things, especially considering the fact that it's COVID right now. But I don't want you to feel bad about that stuff because everybody starts somewhere, and I started with a mermaid tail that fell apart, and I didn't even have like a shell bra or anything. I had blonde hair and I had black roots that were coming out. There was no such thing as like underwater makeup that you could buy. Like it was a rough start. So there are so many more resources out there, so many more affordable things. It took me years to save up for my first mermaid tail, so don't beat yourself up. It takes you a while to get started. You got to start somewhere. I've also got fruit flies that are flying around. So, yes, Mermaid Emathea, she decided to do a fundraiser for the explosion that happened in Lebanon, and she did an auction, and this top was on the auction, and I didn't actually think I was going to win it, but people were really underbidding it, and I wanted to see like the bid go up a bit and her be able to raise more money. So I put a bid on it for what I thought was a fair value, and then nobody bid after me. So I actually won it, which was pretty cool because I did get it at a bit of a discount of what you would normally do. And the money that I paid went to the Red Cross for Lebanon. So I'll show you again. It's pretty cute. It's got the little flippies here. I love that. Some feathers, feather detail. It's like drenched in sweat right now because it's so humid here. And you can see that it ties here and it ties back here. Super comfortable. Lots of coverage, and you could like pull it up higher if you wanted. So yeah, I really like it. She also gave me this beautiful bracer to go with it, which are great because they're kind of gender neutral, like men and women can wear them, and gender neutral folks, binary folks, and non-binary folks. And they come, you can get them in lots of colors or custom to Major Tail. My hair, as you can see, is pink, and it's faded because I've been in the water quite a lot, and I've been trying to use that shampoo that like deposits more color, but as you can see, it's kind of like peachy in some places, and I'm working on it. I'm gonna like get it redone in a little bit. I can see the fruit flies. Oh my gosh. We have like 10 fruit fly traps out. So, hi. Oh. It looks like I'm getting ready to like spill some drama, some tea, but I'm just drinking broccoli soup. So I've been doing this diet, and I'm not a fan of diets. I just want to say that like I think people should, a lot of people tell me, oh, I can't be a mermaid until I lose some weight. And I'm like, no, you can be a mermaid now. And like exercising will help you lose weight. So just don't wait until you're at the perfect weight and just get a mermaid tail and go for a swim and you'll have a good time. Trust me. So the reason I'm doing a diet, I got to get like a little heavy with you here for a second. If you've been following my videos, you know that I had a miscarriage a few months ago. And then after that, I actually had another miscarriage, which is called a chemical miscarriage, which is when the egg like fertilizes but doesn't implant. So your body just like gets rid of it, but then it's still like a really intense experience on your body. Not as bad as like the other miscarriage I had, but anyway. Basically, I have two diseases, endometriosis and interstitial cystitis, and in order to assess my fertility and see if we could get pregnant, I had to stop taking medication back in October. And the medication they give you is like cancer medication, and it puts you into medical menopause, and so it stops you from being in horrifying pain, but it also makes you super miserable and like super warm, like a sweat constantly and like really moody and can't sleep. So having a break from it was great, but it also meant that I had to have pain again. So I actually manage my pain. I take an antidepressant, which helps with neuropathic pain. And also it helps my mood because being in pain all the time makes you depressed. I also take medical CBD oil. Cannabis is legal in Canada, both recreationally and medically. I was never really into that stuff growing up. It just wasn't my thing. I wasn't interested. I was really apprehensive to try it. And I only take CBD, which is, it doesn't mess with your mind. It just like helps with pain and anxiety and stuff like that. And it's been great. Like it's worked better for me than any prescription painkiller. And I tried them all. I had fentanyl, I had morphine, I had Dilaudid, like think about all those meds and they would not stop the endo pain that I was having. So the CBD takes most of the edge off. I still have pain. So what I'm doing is this new diet to try to help the inflammation levels in my body to see if it just helps ease up on the endometriosis, because one of the weird things with endometriosis is that your body fat can create more estrogen, and then estrogen feeds the disease, and the disease gets worse, and then you have inflammation, so you get more body fat, and it just goes in this crazy cycle. So I'm trying keto, and I want to give the disclaimer that a lot of people are like, oh, I'm doing keto, and they eat nothing but like bacon and butter, and that's not real keto. Like real keto is low carb, but it's healthy carbs. It's fruits and veggies. Yes, it's like meats and oils and dairy and whatever, but you're still having fruits and veggies. Like the big thing is that you're just basically not having grains in your diet, and grains have been shown to be really hard on endometriosis. So hence the broccoli soup. And you'll see that I'm constantly drinking Powerade right now, because the first few weeks that you're on keto, you lose a lot of water weight. And so I've been on keto for 2 weeks and I've lost 10 pounds of just water. And the reason for that is for every carb that you eat, your body needs 3 molecules of water for 1 molecule of carb. So think about when you're eating loads and loads and loads of carbs, your body has to store water. And then somebody like me, my body has to store more water because of the inflammation, to try to process the inflammation. So I have even more water. So after these miscarriages, I looked like I gained 50 pounds, and it wasn't that I gained weight. It was that I was like retaining water. So my face was really puffy. I looked like I'd been out drinking. Like my ankles and my arms were swelling. So yeah, I started doing keto. I've lost 10 pounds of just water weight. It's a pretty cool diet so far, but you have to do it very carefully. And if it's something you're interested in, you should talk to your doctor, because it can be hard on your kidneys. You have to drink a lot of electrolytes. I drink 3 liters of water / electrolytes every day right now. So I wanted to explain that in my big, long ADD ramble, just so you'll see me. I have to keep taking a break to drink. So yes, if you're just joining us, thank you so much for being my fan, following us on YouTube. I really appreciate it. You are the reason that we are surviving COVID. Halifax Mermaids, my business, is actually doing better than we've ever done before because of all the online earnings. So we have money through YouTube. It's not a lot, but it's enough. We have Patreon, and we have the Mertailor affiliates, and then I get influencer deals on Instagram, and I sell my stock photos, and I sell stock video and stuff like that. So all of that stuff, because people are home and using the computer more and trying to get out and have fun things, so they're buying tails and stuff, that money is actually like generating enough that we could still continue running Halifax Mermaids, even though we have not had a gig since February, which is amazing. So I can't thank you enough. Here in Canada, where I live in Nova Scotia, it's illegal for us to work right now. There's just no way we could work. We can go swim and stuff at Mermaids, but we can't do pool parties. The pools are like, one person can rent the entire pool. Like, that's how it's working right now. And you can't be around groups of more than 10 without a mask and distancing. And they want you to keep your 10, we call it our bubble. They want you to keep your 10 bubble people, like kind of the same people. So your family. And we've actually gone several weeks at a time with no COVID, none. And we're testing like crazy. And then we get a case, and it's usually somebody who came from the USA to visit Nova Scotia, but we have quarantine measures in place. So thankfully they don't spread it to anybody. So we figure out they have it and they have to quarantine, but they haven't spread it, which is really cool. So even though we have active cases, they aren't community spread. So we have zero community spread right now. And I think we have 5 cases of people who are on quarantine because they came up from the States. And until yesterday, we went like 3 weeks without anything, no cases. So that's really cool. But even though we have that, we are doing that by mandating masks. They are mandatory here, and it's keeping our cases low. And hopefully we will be able to have some sort of semblance of normal in a bit. So we'll see what happens. But for now, it means no working as a professional mermaid in person. But all of these other things that I'm doing, like YouTube and Mertailor, it's paying the bills. And I thought Halifax Mermaids would go bankrupt. I thought, this is it. Like, I'll be able to like do kind of fun things as a YouTuber, but I won't have any more opportunities. But instead, like, our taxes are paid, our accountant is paid, our insurance is paid, the web hosting fees are paid. So I love you. Thank you. Just by watching this video, you don't even have to do anything. Just by watching my content that's monetized, you're helping us earn like a couple cents every time somebody watches it. And it doesn't seem like a lot, but it all adds up when the more people watch it. That's why people want so many subscribers, right? Because it helps. So anyway, thank you. I really appreciate your support. So this weekend, Sean and I took Mermaid Nessie out to do a bunch of adventures. And if you follow our Facebook or if you follow our Patreon, we've been posting pictures there. And Nessie used to have a jewelry business called the Siren Serenade, and I got her to make me some jewelry, and I was going to show you some. For those of you who have been following, Sean's mom passed away last year, and her favorite color was red, so this is like a necklace that she had made for Sean's mom, which is really pretty. Ooh, so mermaidy, so we kind of have it as a keepsake. But like 6 months ago, before COVID started, I commissioned a bunch of these necklaces for her. So look at this. This is to match my whale shark tail. I have one of these for almost every single one of my tails now. So let me tell you the tea on this. So here's a fun live stream tea. So this here, this nautilus shape, is a publicly available mold. That means, like, remember when you were a kid and you played Play-Doh and it came with like cookie cutters and you would put the Play-Doh in and flip it out and it was different shapes or whatever? So these are like adult versions of that. There's molds that people can use for anything, and this one is a cake mold. So it's for people trying to make ocean style. So it's a mold, and for her, she put resin in it, she put pigments, she put glitter, she lets it dry, and she has made her own pendant, and she's glued some crystals on it to match my tail, which is really cool. So this mold is really popular. It's been used in the mermaid community off and on ever since it was released, basically. But the artist that made it popular was Merbella's, because they had started making these necklaces first, and they were kind of like positioned like this. And it made me think of the Little Mermaid, right? Like Ursula, like, like that kind of thing. And you guys know, like, I used to have like a really positive relationship with Merbella's. We've been friends for like 8 or 9 years. We started our businesses together. I was her first customer. My tails were some of the first tails she made. I can feel a sneeze. Excuse me. No COVID. I can feel a sneeze coming on. Somebody must be talking about me. That's why I'm sneezing. So yeah, so Merbella's had started making these, and the thing about Merbella's is they usually make their necklaces and their headdresses and accessories pre-made, and they sell for like $300. I bought one from her for $300. Thank you, Gwen. Gwen. And yeah, so I bought it. It was lovely, and then more artists started doing their own version of the necklace using this, or they also used it to make headdresses. A few people made headdresses. People used it as pieces on tops, whatever. So my girl, Mermaid Nessie, she was making necklaces like this, and then she started getting molds, and she made some with seashells and starfish, and I have some of those. And then she said, you know, I found this mold at Michael's, and I'd really like to use it. And I said, okay, well, what's the problem? And she said, well, I don't want to step on Merbella's toes because we have such a good relationship with their company. I said, okay, well, just send her a message. You know, tell her your ideas and how you're going to be unique. I mean, I feel like you don't need to ask her because it's a mold that anyone can buy, but it's really great that you want to ask her, and it's respectful, and it's just showing that you care about their opinion. So sure, like, ask her. So she sent them a big message. She sent it to like their page. She sent it to her husband. She sent it to her, just saying like, here's what I want to do. Here's what it's going to look like. I know that you use this mold and it's really popular, and I don't want to steal from you. So I just want to see what you think. And we never heard anything back. And in that time, more and more people started making different accessories using this mold. And so basically, in the time, my necklace that I had bought from Raven that was $300 broke because it was just not a very strong, I'm sorry, I don't make jewelry, so I don't know what all the terms are, but basically like the thread that was used, the chain, it wasn't very strong, and it broke and I couldn't repair it. So I took it to Nessie to fix, and I said, you know, you've been waiting and waiting for an answer from them, and in the meantime, everyone else is using this, and you don't really need their permission. You made every effort to reach out and ask. So why don't you just try doing your own stuff? You have mine as a reference so that you can make sure you're not copying. Like, just make sure you're not making a knockoff Merbella necklace, right? So that was fine. Like, one of the things at the time with Merbellas was like, like I said, none of them were custom. They were just pre-made. So she said, well, why don't I fill the custom market? That way people can make them to match their tails. And the other thing with Merbellas is that they only release things a few times a year, and they sell out in seconds. So it's not like you're taking business away from her because she chooses to make them very limited and they always sell out. It's not like she's not selling out. So, she showed me a couple designs and for different tails she made, and she went out of her way to do everything as different as she possibly could. So the clasps that she used, the way that she crimped the beads, the types of beads she used. Nessie's really big on recycling. So she would find like thrift shop necklaces, and her grandmother had left her like beads and stuff and shells, and she'd drill holes in them, and she'd basically like recycle and upcycle all of this stuff. And just the way she did the chains and the way she did the threads and like everything. And she tried to make the pendants very custom and matching people's tails, and she did a really beautiful job. And I am very protective of Merbellas. I've always defended them when people have stolen from them. I've shaped my company so that I could be respectful of them. So back in the day, this is probably gonna sound crazy to people, but back in the day, I wouldn't even let my team wear something from Merbellas with something that belonged to another tail maker. So like if you had a Mer-tailored tail, you didn't wear a Merbella top, like that kind of thing. Like we wanted, if you were wearing Merbellas, you were wearing all Merbellas. That way it wasn't like mixing artists. And when I bought my first Mer-tailored tail, I actually reached out to Raven and was like, I don't want your feelings to be hurt. Like I still love my Merbella tails. I can't afford you anymore. And your wait times, like I have gigs now. I can't wait 3 years for a tail, and this is used and I can just buy it now. It doesn't mean I don't support you or love you or think your work is amazing, but I have to put my business first. So at this point in time, like everything's fine, and Nessie's making necklaces for months, and I haven't heard from Merbellas in like a year and a half at this point, and we used to be like tight. I'm also a very chill friend. I'm the kind of person that I understand when people are going through bad things or when people are overwhelmed by their art or their work. And it's like, just check in with me once in a while. Or if I say hi, you can just let me know like I'm super busy. And I won't take it personal because like I totally get it. And that's the kind of friendship that Raven and I had. I was always just like, look, like, you're dealing with that, that's fine. Like I'm always going to be your friend. You can get in touch with me later. No big deal. So like it was kind of tricky, right? So the last time I had actually spoken to her before all of this, I was on my way to Florida in 2017, and that had been a really horrible year for me. That was the year my mom died. I went and worked Mermania, which will get its own live stream video at some point. I went and worked Mermania, and that was a lot of drama. And a lot of the drama came because just before Mermania happened, there was a mermaid who got a tail from Raven and did a live stream and kind of lied about it. And I knew that she was lying because I had seen the invoice and the exchange back and forth and stuff like that. So I challenged it. Which maybe wasn't my place. I always felt very protective of Raven, but maybe that was something they should have done. And because I kind of inserted myself into it and been like, I know that you're lying. Like I have the receipts kind of thing. When I make accusations, they're not accusations, they're facts. Okay? I have proof. So I was feeling defensive of my friend. I jumped into this situation and it made me a target. And this girl was like, oh, you're bullying me, you're harassing me, you're doxing me, like not really realizing that just holding you accountable was not doing any of those things. I would never post someone's personal info for the public or anything like that. Never did anything like that. But when you're caught red-handed, sometimes you make stuff up. So anyway, it turned into this big drama, and the drama kind of that's right, Raina got receipts. The drama kind of like flowed over into Mermania, and I had to deal with it there. And it's funny, because I actually confronted the girl while we were there, and we had a great conversation, and it was fine. she just basically said, like, I wish that you had talked to me first. And I said, well, I think Raven probably wished that you talked to her first before you did all this stuff on the internet, right? And made all these claims. But whatever, touche. We can agree to, like, drop it. That's fine. I just had the proof and I didn't want you to lie about my friend. So from my perspective, I had put my neck on the line for my friend. And it caused me a lot of problems. Like, a lot of people use that incident to justify being horrible to me during the convention that I was running, which is a whole other cup of tea. We will do a video about that another time. So yeah, so I'm already been talking for like 25 minutes. Oh my God, I talk. It's COVID, man. It's making me crazy. So 2017, that happens. My mom dies. I don't hear from Raven at all. And I kind of reached out a few times and I was just like, like, I just miss you. I miss my friends. I'm feeling very isolated. I don't know if I should keep going in the mermaid world. I feel like a lot of people hate me. Like, I was in a really dark place. And I kind of like got little hints of feedback from her here and there. So I was like, she's dealing with her own stuff. I'm just going to have to let it go. But dealing with your mom dying, especially suddenly, and like I held my mom's hand when she died. It was horrible. I just would have really appreciated having a friend in that moment. And it was just rough. I was very alienated. It was rough. So whatever. The end of the year comes along, November. Raven and I have a birthday that's a week apart, and I was going to Florida and I was super excited for it. And I was going to bring my she creature tail and she was going to fix it up for me because the waist was broken on it. Parts of it were coming apart. And we had agreed on this. And I said, no pressure. Like, if you're too busy for a visit, I can just drop it off at your studio and you take however long you need to fix it because I'm not using it anyway because it's broken. It's not one of my main tails and I'm not using it. So, anyway, that's all fine and good. I get on the plane and it's 2 flights for me to get to Florida, which often happens. So I'm on like the break between the 2 flights. And I get a message from Tyler saying that they're not going to be able to get together from me. I'm not far away from the camera, Allie. It's a wide angle camera. I can't get any closer. It's actually right in my face. It's just a wide angle camera. I'll have a better setup next time. It'll look nicer. So yeah, Tyler sends me this message. It's like, we're just too busy. We can't get together. And I'm like, oh, I wish you had told me that before I got on an airplane and paid all this extra money for extra luggage to carry this tail that I now can't use and have to drag around Florida. Like, you could have told me last night and instead you told me the day I'm flying and I'm literally in between my flights. So I was a little miffed about that. You thought I was scared of you? Yes, I'm so scared. This chat is not good for trying to tell stories and ADD at all. Okay, so yeah, I was a little miffed about that and annoyed. But again, I was like, I don't know what they're dealing with. They might have stuff going on that I don't know about. I'm just going to not focus on it and have a good trip. But I was sad on the friend end of things that I wouldn't get to see my friend for our birthday, because the last time I had seen her was 2015. And before that, I hadn't seen her for 3 years. So I was disappointed, but I had a really great trip to Florida. Mer Taylor invited me over to dinner to like hash out some stuff because he and I had a really bad history and it was just really nice to kind of like get stuff out of the way. When you've been around as long as I have, 12 years, like you see everybody go through all of their stages, and sometimes you hang on to old ideas and you have to remind yourself that people grow up and change and learn and do better. So I was trying to give Raven that wiggle room. So you've heard all the background, okay? So like I hadn't heard from her in a really long time. My girl Nessie had like bent over backwards to ask permission to use this necklace mold that she didn't even have to ask permission for because it was publicly available. So fast forward to this year, and I had made Raven her own fan group because there's a Mer Taylor fan group, there's a Finfolk fan group, and I was like, hey, you need Merbella's one, and I'll set it up with some of your best customers for mods, and I'll surprise you with it, and then you won't have to worry about running it, but you can still have this place where people can celebrate your tails and have fun the way they do in the other ones. So I made that, and it was really nice, and people were using it and everything. And then, like, I don't know, it's like 6 or 7 months after Nessie has been making these necklaces, like she's been making them for almost a year. And then Tyler makes this big call out post about her copying. He's using pictures of me and he's like, look at this, like it's a knockoff of Ravens and da 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 da. And we were both completely shocked, and I took it very personally, because I was like, why didn't you just say something? Like, we reached out to you so many times, and even now, before making a call out post, like, I thought we were friends. You could have just been like, hey, I never saw this message, or I never had time to get back to you, but we're actually uncomfortable with this. Like, we could have had a conversation. We've always had conversations. I've always asked Raven and Tyler permission before we do something. We did a study on our mermaid tails, and I asked them permission for that. Like, they're our property that we own, and we don't need permission, but like, we were not going to do it if they said no. So we talked to them about it, and anything that we've ever done, we've always asked their permission. So it was really upsetting to me that people that we had been friends with, that we had supported for so long, that I personally felt like I had suffered because I stood up for them so much. I was like the face of so much Marbella's drama, would just throw us under the bus like that. And it was just like, it was a really cruel post, and it was in the group that I made them. Like, it was a group gift that I had made them that they'd been using for like a year, and they did this call out post. So anyway, it was really upsetting, and I called them out on it, and surprise, surprise, nobody replied to me. And I said like how hurtful it was and all these other things that had happened, and like nobody said anything. And we made the point, like, at first the fans were like super on their side, but then when we posted the screenshots of like, yeah, we asked permission, we did, they just never answered us, because she said right in her message, if this upsets you, I won't make it, I'll come up with something else, but if you're okay with it, I'd like to, because you don't do custom options and people want customs. And you know, I'm a one person in Canada, like, I'm not gonna make a load of money on here. Like, she was very respectful. Other people didn't other people didn't ask, they just went and did it. Like, we were the ones being respectful, and we were the ones who got punished. It wasn't the other people who were using the molds getting yelled at, it was us. So that was upsetting. So like, our friendship pretty much ended there, because Nessie has been one of my mermaids for 8 years. I've taken care of her since she was a child. Like, she was literally 16 years old working for me. I watched that girl go through graduation. I watched her grow up. I watched her go into university, and she was so proud of her jewelry making business, and she deals with chronic illness the same way that I do. So everybody needs their thing, right? And she was so proud of it. And she didn't just make these, like, she made all kinds of jewelry. This was just one thing that she made. So yeah, I really love it. And unfortunately, she basically got bullied out of making them. So many rabid Marbella fans came after her, and then after that call out, that people were reporting her pictures, leaving her hate messages, and she just couldn't handle it. And I bring it up again because, like I said, other artists are using this mold now, and they're getting bullied too. Not necessarily by Marbella's people, by other people who think that they have some sort of right. It'd be like getting mad that somebody used the same stock photos, or getting mad that somebody used Finfolk scales when Finfolk sells the scales for anybody to use. It'd be like me getting mad because other people dyed their hair pink. Like, if you don't, if you want something to be totally unique, you have to make it unique. Oh, hi, Jolene. Jolene's like my adopted mer mama. She's amazing. I was just giving all of the fans the lowdown on the necklace story and the famed Nautilus, and everybody was taking a look at my beautiful top. So, for instance, Amathea made this top from scratch. It's her own molds that she made. So if somebody copied it and it looked exactly like it, that would be copying, because it's not something you can go to the store and buy and just make. This is literally something that you can go to the store and just make. So it was super frustrating. Anyway, by total coincidence, the necklace, I think, matches very beautifully with the top. And yeah, so that's just kind of my little tea about Merbellas. It really sucked. I missed my friendship with them. All of my Merbella's tails are in need of very serious repairs, which is why you haven't seen me wear them. One of my mermaids, Mermaid Victoria, the one that we did the video of, and she's pregnant. She's due in like 2 or 3 weeks. She has the she creature, and she's trying her best to fix it. Amathea, who made this top, I mailed her the she creature. She called Smooth On. She tried all of these tricks to wake up the silicone so that she could try to fix some parts of it, and she couldn't make it work. So it's kind of like we can't do anything with it, so it feels like experimenting with it doesn't matter, because if we can't do anything with it, we might as well keep trying because something might work, right? So it's like the cloth of a super. You're really obsessed with my backdrop, Allie. It's literally it's just a backdrop. It's all it is. It's so you don't see my messy apartment. That's it. So anyway, that's my Rebella story, and these are my beautiful new tops. And that was just like the kind of 2 things I thought I would talk about for the live stream. Are there any Q&A questions? I figure I could take like 5 or 10 minutes and answer any of your questions if you want to pop them in the chat. And I think what I'm going to do in the future is I'm going to map out talking points so that people will know what we're going to talk about for each live stream, and you can decide if you're interested in that or not. I did not make the clothes I'm wearing. I do have a clothing line, Raina's Splash and Fashion, but it's actual clothes, not costume pieces. I don't have any with me, but you can see them online at rainasplashandfashion.com. And Scuff DMX wants me to twerk it, girl. I'm a little white girl. I don't twerk. I have no bum, so I'm not going to twerk. Jolene was just asking how my business is doing during COVID, and I think I said this at the start as a thank you for all of my subscribers, but we're actually doing really well because of online earnings. We're not taking bookings at this time, but we are doing pretty well. In your swimming videos, does your eyes burn? So sometimes, yeah, sometimes they do burn. And 1 second here. Bye. Sorry, we had a troll in the chat. I had to get rid of them. This is interesting. Thanks, guys, for being patient with me. So yeah, I sorry, I lost my train of thought. I'm new to this YouTube thing. So okay, the eye burning thing. Sorry. See, when you guys watch my videos, Sean edits out all these parts where I have my little ADD moments where it's like the dog, squirrel, squirrel. Okay, eyes. Yes, eyes do burn, and it's kind of like depends on the water that you're in. Chlorine absolutely burns it. So when I'm practicing, I practice in goggles, and I only have my eyes open in the chlorine sparingly. I use eye gel to lubricate my eyes before and after, and I get regular eye exams, and my eye doctor knows the kind of work that I do, so she gives me like a prescription eye gel to try to protect them. But basically, you just want to really flush them with water. They do burn. Mermaids just kind of learn how to deal with it. In freshwater, it's not too bad unless there's like silt or like particles in the water, and that can get stuck. And in salt water, it kind of burns at first, but then your eyes adapt to it because your eyes are made out of salt water. But the problem with all 3 is that they do tend to make your eyes red. So a lot of times when you're seeing my videos and pictures, we've had to color correct so that I don't look like a crazy stoner, because I have big eyes, right? And they just go red, 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 and it's a fun time. I heard that on H2O they used some kind of milk in their eyes, but I don't know what it was that they used. You do kind of acclimate it, but you have to be careful of conjunctivitis. You can get that from opening your eyes in pools. You can get styes from opening your eyes in pools. And yeah, it's a good time. So that's my answer about eyes. And what else do we have? Any tips for aspiring merman? I'm looking into investing my first tail and thinking about the mertail or whimsy tail, though investing in tail is risky because a lack of work for male merfolk. Totally got you. It is hard right now for everybody because of COVID, but in general, it is harder for mermen. I think mermen, it's hard to make it on your own. Not saying you shouldn't try, but it is really hard to put yourself out there. I would maybe consider auditioning for an established company already. For example, Merman Jax runs Dark Tide Productions in California, and he has lots of mermen that work for him. I have one merman who works for me, and I would like to have more. It's just like, yeah, it can be tricky. I would say try to find a middle ground because it will be hard to make money back on a tail regardless. Tails are so expensive and mermaid work does not pay great. Like, I really have multiple income streams and that's how I make mine work. So I would say that, like, auditioning for another company and maybe starting, instead of going right for the whimsy tail that Mertailor sells, because you're looking at like $250 or whatever it is for the monofin, and then like $380 for the tail skin. You could try his guppy, which is like $50 for the monofin and $100 for the skin. It's not the same quality, but it's enough that you could practice and get your skills down. It still looks really nice for photos, so you could get some promotional photos, and it would allow you to go and audition. Some companies will actually rent you their tails. Like, I rented silicone tails to people on my team until they were able to buy some. I'm pretty sure Jax does that as well, and Shiros and Wands and Wishes. So there's a few companies that do that. But yeah, definitely, Caleb, I'm hoping to have some more resources specifically for mermen. I'm going to be interviewing some and coming up with some stuff that should be on YouTube, because I am a woman, so I have a sense of what it's like, and I know what it's like when I try to book out my mermen. But in terms of what it's like to be a man yourself and trying to deal with this, I'm going to get some men on the show to actually talk to you about it themselves. So stick with me and hopefully we can have something there. I'm not sure if I'm saying it properly. Is it Brammy? How are you liking your Finfolk Mythic? I ordered my first one in the last release. I have a silicone from them, though, that I love. So I don't love my Mythic, but I have to remind people that my Mythic is like second generation, and there's been loads of generations since then. So they have taken all the feedback that they've been given on the various versions and improved. So I didn't want to buy a brand new one. That was too much of an expense for me for a tail that I'm not going to get to use for gigs this year because we're not going to have gigs. Brahmi, okay, that's very cute. Thanks for making it clear for me, and I apologize for getting it wrong. Yeah, so basically I bought this used knowing that it would have some flaws, and with that understanding. That being said, it's not my favorite tail to use from a functional standpoint because it's very short on me, even though I got a tall. I'm very tall myself, and I have very long legs and very high hips. So it comes up really low on me, and it just gives me like the mermaid muffin top and just makes me uncomfortable. I also find it difficult to swim in because it's so short on me, so it kind of slides down my butt when I'm trying to swim. And I lost like 10 scales the first time I swam in it. So I ordered a bunch of replacements. I ordered some extra fins, and my one of my mermaids is going to make me a silicone gap wrap so I can put that around to hold it up better and kind of cover that belly area so I'm more comfortable. And yeah, I'm hiring one of my girls to fix it up for me, and it's going to be like a winter project, and I think we're only going to use the mythic tail for like pictures and maybe tank work. We'll have to see, because it's just, for me, like, I can't be using it in the ocean if it's going to shed scales, and just intend of in oh, sorry. In terms of like trying to swim with it, I found it really difficult to swim in because I'm very buoyant to begin with, and it's made from neoprene. So I put something like 12 pounds of weight in it, and I still couldn't swim properly because I was really bouncy. So don't take that as a really good review, because it's not really fair. The one that you've ordered, Brahmi, is going to be totally different than the one I have, because it's like, I don't know, 3 more generations later, and they've listened to all the feedback and they've worked really hard to make this product better. And I really don't know what it's going to be like in comparison to this from the pictures I've seen. And I know the twins personally, so I know the investment and the time that they're putting into it. I really love Finfolk as a company. I love the girls. They're just not necessarily my style or the practicality for what I need. So sorry, it's kind of half answers your question. We are making a video about our Finfolk Mythic and unboxing it and all that stuff. We just haven't had a chance. Sean and I have been loading up on taking footage because we know that we're not going to be able to get to do that much this winter, and we want to have lots of videos to put out for you guys. Adam, how many tails do I own? I don't know. How many tails do I own? Jeez, I don't know. Let's count. She creature, regular splash, mini splash, Mertailor silicone. So are those all my silicones? I used to have a blue one, but I sold it to Kristen. Okay. I used to have that green one, but I sold it. Okay, so I think I have 4 silicones. I have the 1 mythic. So those are like 5 right there. And then I have the 3 fantasy fins, 1, 2, and 3, and a ton of skins that go with them. So I don't know if you can count that as individual tails. I have like 20 fin fun tails that I use for teaching, but we also borrow them ourselves if we're doing like parades or something. I used to have a Finfolk fabric, but I didn't like it, so I gave it to one of my mermaids, and she likes it better and it fits her better. Again, that was like a generational thing. It was like a 1st or 2nd gen, and it didn't stretch very well, and I got a medium, and I probably needed a large. So yeah, I think that's how many. I don't know. I'm gonna have to stop and count now. I don't know for sure how many I have. We have a question here. Are there any stretches you do before and after Mermaid gigs? Yep. I do a little bit of Tai Chi, and I do planks, and I do restorative yoga. But the big stretches that I find help me are anything that's going to help my ribs. You will find the more that you mermaid, one of the weird wear and tear on our physical bodies that we experience is inflammation in between your ribs, and it has to do with this motion and not having those joints stretched very well, and they just get inflamed. So most long-term people who have been mermaiding for a long time tend to get that rib pain. So just kind of like half moon stretches are good for that. The other thing is your calves and your feet often get Charlie horses when you're in the tail. It has a lot to do with not using proper form. That being said, when you're in a pool and you're trying to entertain kids, you're doing a lot of sculling, and you're not, and you're treading water, and you're not swimming properly anyway, so your feet are getting all jacked up in there. So I have toe spreaders that I put on my toes. It's like they look like the things that you put on when you're having a pedicure, and they kind of just go on and spread your toes, and I put them on in the tub, and that'll just kind of loosen up those muscles. I keep a rolling pin. It's usually right here. Here it is. I have a steel rolling pin that I keep under my desk, and I roll my feet on it. And I've actually had this for 5 years because when mermaid Iona came to visit me, she was having foot and ankle problems, and it was cheaper to buy a rolling pin than like one of those physiotherapy balls. So we had bought that for her, and now I use it. Yeah, Jolene got it. Straightening your intercostals. I couldn't think of what they were called, your intercostals. So yeah, I roll my arches on the rolling pin. I'll also do tiptoes, where you just stand up and down on your tiptoes a few times to kind of stretch things out. And I'll use straps to kind of stretch out my legs, and I just kind of pull back on them. It's kind of hard to show right now. Maybe I'll make a video of mermaid stretches now that I know people are interested in that kind of thing, because it's not really flattering for me to try to, you know, stick my leg up here at my desk and be like, wow, with like my chest hanging out here. This thing is like so beautiful, but I am pouring sweat. Whew. It's unseasonably warm here in Nova Scotia. Unseasonably. We're hitting into the like 80s and 90s, and we're normally 70s in the summer. And the humidity is so bad. We're getting Portuguese man of war here, and that's not something we get ever. Like, they might get blown in accidentally from a hurricane, and instead the ocean is so warm that they're getting blown in here. So, Gwen, I'm so glad that you used my Mertailor discount code. Yeah, please keep using it, because the 10% that you get off your order, I actually get as like a commission, and that's what I use to buy stuff for the company. So to pay for the insurance, to pay for the web hosting fees, to pay the accountant, to pay for the YouTube setup, which is usually a lot nicer when we do our formal videos. But like, for instance, Sean just had to buy some filters for the camera because it's been so unseasonably sunny. Like, for us, it's like Florida sun, not what we're used to, that all of our pictures were washing out, and our video, and everybody's skin was like white, and they're like auto didn't matter. Like, it didn't matter what we used. So Sean had to buy some special filters so that we could actually get pictures without blinding everybody. And you know, we get different backdrops and stuff, and we just bought a different editing software we're hoping is going to be better. I don't know if we bought it yet, but we did a trial of it, and we pay like a subscription fee to license music for the back of our videos, like $15 a month, like that kind of stuff. So this is great. All the feedback that you're all giving me is really great ideas for me on videos that I'm going to do. So I'm going to have the Mythic video review, and we're also going to do one on repairing them. Maybe I will do a video of all of my tails, and we'll show those. I'm also going to do the stretching video. I think that's great. Sean and I have just been recording tons. We're trying to get back into our 2 videos a week, but it's been tricky because we don't have a lot of time to edit at the moment. But we want to have enough content for things to come out weekly over the winter. So that's why we're just kind of going really hard, because there's a big chance that we won't be able to get in pools in the winter. And like, what am I going to do in the winter? Like, I'll do like my novelty picture in the snow. I'll get a couple bathtub pictures, but that's it. Like, I'm going to have nothing to do mermaid wise. So you might get a lot more of these ranty vlogs, right? But I'll probably wrap up shortly because I've been chatting your ears off for almost an hour, and I really appreciate you checking it out. And I'm definitely going to next time have a nicer setup. This was kind of an experiment. If you think this was a fun thing to do, like, let me know in the comments or the chat, because I don't want to put the effort in if people aren't going to watch it. But if people like it, I will totally like invest some more time in a nicer setup and have a bit of a script to follow and everything. It looks like I'm trying to give a promo for Powerade. It even matches my top. But yeah, if this is something that you guys and girls and non-binary folks, I'm trying to stop saying you guys. If this is something you folks would like, please continue to let me know, and I will try to refine it so it's not just an hour of Raina rambling. We can call the live stream that. And thank you so much for checking me out. Next time I'll move my camera so I'm not constantly looking at the bottom. Once again, thank you for being a subscriber. We really appreciate your support. We definitely appreciate if you share our videos around, because like we said, when those ads pop up, we get a tiny bit of revenue, but it all adds up and helps us pay the bills and keep things going during COVID. So best fishes. Thank you. Thank you. You're all wonderful. Shawnee's having a nap, or he'd be here too. Next time, guest appearance by Pinky. Bye.